Hello everyone, Josh Matthews here alongside former two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Anderson. Ken, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, thank you.
You are one of the most outspoken superstars on the Impact roster. Is Ken Anderson off-screen as outspoken as Mr. Anderson?
Yes, I would say I'm opinionated about things. I try to be educated about those opinions, and I'm open to the idea that I'm wrong, and I'll change my opinion. I guess I'm 39 now, so I'm getting a little older. I've learned to sort of pick and choose battles. I used to die on every hill, and now I try to be a little more diplomatic about asserting my opinions. So, but yeah, I'm definitely opinionated, and I started a podcast so that I could have an outlet to discuss nothing about wrestling, but politics and religion and all that stuff that we're not supposed to talk about.
So you're able to separate this life from your other life?
Absolutely. Yeah, when I first approached my co-host about doing this podcast, he just looked at me and kind of rolled his eyes like, here we go, another wrestler starting a podcast. And I said, but I don't want to talk about wrestling at all. I just want to talk about all the stuff we're supposedly not supposed to talk about, which just so happens to be the most important things in everybody's lives. But for some reason, we're not able to talk about it, so.
This is an interesting question. You faced both Eddie Guerrero and Umaga in their last matches. Did that ever make you think about leaving the business because of your health?
No, absolutely not. Those were two completely different situations, and I think one of them passed away prematurely because of decisions that he had made in his life earlier. It's no secret that Eddie at one time was an addict and an alcoholic. Had his demons, yes. And he cleaned his life up, and unfortunately it appears that it was too little too late. But I don't know, I just always thought that stuff happens. It's unfortunate that I happened to be their last opponent. Nobody wants to be bestowed with that sort of, I don't know if you call it an honor, but it is what it is, and I'm sort of like, people die. I don't mean to be flip about it, but stuff happens, and the wheels keep turning, and hopefully we learn from the mistakes that those guys made. But I never thought about quitting the business, not even for a second.
Well said. We'll change gears now. You're from Green Bay, Wisconsin. How are your beloved Packers going to fare in 2015?
I don't like to be overly confident or cocky when it comes to football, because what happens every time a player goes public and boldly states what's going to happen during the next game, it always backfires on him, or seems to backfire on him. So, look, we had a great season last year. Awful NFC Championship game. I remember 3 minutes and 52 seconds left in the game. I looked over at my wife and I said, we're less than 4 minutes from going to the Super Bowl. And you know what happened after that? I'd say we did fairly well last season. I think we just got some good pickups in the draft. Didn't really lose anybody. I'm thinking we'll do probably pretty well. Pretty good.
How long have you been doing this for a living?
16 years.
Could you name a favorite opponent?
Oh, no. That's really too hard, and I like different opponents for different reasons, and I've had the pleasure and the fortune of working with so many amazing talents that it's really hard to narrow one down. I mean, Sting, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Ric Flair, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Rey Mysterio. I mean, it's just like, it's so hard. Yeah, I have a couple that I've not gotten to work with that I would love to work with, and obviously Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, two of my favorites, two of the guys that I really looked up to and studied.
You've been compared to Stone Cold throughout your career. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, I've heard that, and I guess I appreciate that compliment. I'm not trying to be him. Like, I never was trying to be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was always trying to just be the first Ken Anderson.
One thing very unique about you is the mic drop.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? How'd that work out?
Well, multifaceted, I guess. First, Paul Heyman suggested that I go out to the ring, and this was at OVW, and cut the ring announcer off, tell him he's a piece of garbage. You're going to do your own introduction, and then you introduce yourself. Well, I had done, I announced basketball games when I was in high school. And somewhere along the line, somebody suggested to me that I say the last name twice, like old boxing announcers. And when I did it, it always got a great reaction from people. I would have fans from the other team come over, and, you know, that was really funny. And so when I went out to the ring, cut the ring announcer off and started doing my thing, it just popped into my head, and I hit my last name twice. And when I came back through the curtain, it was, I had a match, and nobody said, hey, great match. It was, man, that was really funny when you said your last name twice. And that was the thing that stuck. And then when I actually got on the roster, on the road, full-time, Dave Lagana decided, hey, we're gonna do the drop-down mic from the ceiling. So I'm pretty fortunate to have sort of all those, Paul Heyman, Dave Lagana, all, and my own little spice. We put it in a pot, we mixed it all up.
You mentioned Little. It's an easy segue for me, Rockstar Spud. He's a friend of yours. You've been there for him, you assist him. What do you think you could do for the career of Rockstar Spud?
You know, I try to help him out in any way that I can and give advice. I watch his stuff. I watch his stuff largely because he entertains me. I really find him compelling for some reason. I think he's really good at what he does. He's passionate about the business. He knows a ton about the business. If I ever have a question, I'll just go to Rockstar Spud or Tommy Dreamer. I don't know that I can really necessarily do much for him other than just give him tips and pointers here, and, you know, observations that I've come across in my own 16 years in the business. But he's doing pretty well for himself. I mean, he's a hard worker. He busts his ass, and he's just always learning and always getting better. So,
you mentioned 16 years. Have you ever had the opportunity to work in Brazil?
No, never.
So your thoughts on the opportunity for TNA to go to Brazil?
I relish the opportunity. Like, I would love that. One of the great things about this business is the travel. And I've been fortunate to have wrestled in all 50 states. And I've traveled to over 35, I believe the last count that I had was about 35 countries that I've wrestled in. And I just always love going to those new places just for the passport stamp and to experience different cultures. I love it. That's the best part about my job.
Favorite wrestler of all time?
Favorite wrestler of all time? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Easy answer.
16 years in, how much longer can Mr. Anderson go?
Ask me that question in 5 years. I feel better now than I did probably 5 years ago. I think science has come a long way, and you know, we have so many health-related products at our fingertips. Nutrition, supplementation, the way that you train, the way that you work out, the way that you rest and recover, the therapeutic modalities, massage and things like that. So I try to utilize all those things, and like I said, I feel great, and I'm not slowing down anytime soon.
You look great. Mr. Anderson, thank you very much. Thank you for your time.